welcome to Math on Mondays with Miss Laurent. Today we're going to talk about adding mixed numbers in fractions. But first, I want to talk to you about improper fractions. So let's look at this scenario I've written out right here. I have 5/6 plus 2/6 plus 4/6. So these all have the same denominator, so I know that I can just add the numerators together to get the answer. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 4 is 11. So I have 11/6. In this fraction, the top number, the numerator, is actually greater than the denominator. I know that 6 out of 6 is 1 whole, but 11 is greater than 6. So we can change what's called an improper fraction when the numerator is greater than the denominator to a mixed number. And how I would do that with 11/6 is I could write 11/6 and draw a break apart model where I know I can take 6/6 out because that's 1 whole, and the remaining amount of 6 I have after that would be 5/6. So if 6/6 equals 1 whole plus 5/6, I have 1 and 5/6. That's changing an improper fraction to a mixed number. Another way you can think about that is go back in your mind to when we did long division, because 11/6 is just like saying 11 divided by 6. I know I can take 6 out one time, and then if I subtract 11 minus 6, I have 5 left over, remainder 5. Oh, look, 1 and 5/6 again. Okay, let's move on. So when we have mixed numbers and we're going to add mixed numbers and fractions today. That's what you're going to be working on this week in your problem set assignment. So let's think about the mixed number. Let's look at this problem. I have 2 and 3/8. 2 and 3/8 plus 3/8. I have a mixed number here and I have a fraction. So the first thing I want to think about is what units do I have? I have 2 1s and I have 3/8 and I have another 3/8. 3/8 and another 3/8. Did I spell that right? Yes. So we're going to think about adding like units. So the 2 1s, I don't have any other 1s I can add them to right now, but I have 2 sets of 8s. So I can add the 3/8 plus 3/8. Again, these fractions have the same denominator, so I can just add the numerators together, which would be 6/8. Now if I go back to remember, I have one more unit I need to add on, right? We can't just forget the 2 that we started with. So I have a whole number 2 plus 6/8, which is 2 and 6/8. We can also use number lines to help us when we're adding. So I'll leave this part down here. This up here. Oh, this isn't working very well to erase. So if I want to draw a number line for this, the first thing you want to look for when you're drawing a number line with mixed numbers is where's my biggest number, because when we're adding, that's where we're going to start our number line. So my biggest number is 2 3/8. So I want to start my number line no less than 2. So I'm going to put 2 at the beginning of my number line. And I'm going to draw it like that. And then I have to do another number. So my next whole number would be 3. And now I have to divide it into 8s because that's the fractional unit we're working with. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I start with 2 3/8, I have 2, I need 1, 2, 3/8. That's where I'm going to start. 2, 3/8. And I need to add on 3 more 8s. So I go 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. That gets me right here. But what number is that? That's 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Is that the same number that we got down here? 2 6/8, 2 6/8. It checks out. Sometimes I found with drawing number lines that I have to erase and try again a few times because my number of spaces isn't right. It's a tool to help us understand, but we have to be a little bit careful with it. Okay, what are we doing next? Okay, let's look at one more problem together. Okay, the problem we're going to look at is 7/8 plus 6 4/8. So the first thing I want to do, remember, is look at what kind of units do I have here. I have 6 1s. I have 7 8s, and I have another 4 8s here. So just like we said before, we can't add the 6 1s to anything else. That's all I have right now. But I can add the 7 8s and the 4 8s. So I'm going to start with that. I'll just do this. 7 8s plus 4 8s. 7 plus 4 is 11. So I have 11 8s. What is that? What's that called? We're learning about it right now. This is an improper fraction. So that means I can change it to a mixed number. So how I would do that is I put them together and now I'm going to break them apart. We want to make a whole. So I'm going to pull out 8 8s first to make one whole. Put a 1 in a circle there to remind me that that's one whole. Now 11 minus 8 is 3. So I have 3 8s left over. Now I have 6 1s. Let's just cross these out because now I have 6 1s. I have 1 1, 1 1, and I have 3 8s. So now I can add my 6 plus 1 is 7. And I can add my 3 8s. 7 plus 3 8s is 7 and 3 8s. I'm sure that a lot of you can be able to do that in your head and you won't have to write out every single step. But this is something that you can reference as you're doing a problem set if you need help with that. Let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to... I did want to show you this problem also on a number line, I think. And all of these problems that I've done today are in the PowerPoint, so if you need to take a look back at some of the work that I've done to help you, you can take a look at some of the examples that I've shown in the PowerPoint slide. And so we're doing the same problem, 7/8 plus 6 4/8. 7/8 plus 6 4/8. Now I want to make a point to say that with addition, we have the commutative property, right? So we can flip these around and it can be 6 4/8 plus 7/8. Just like whole numbers, it doesn't matter which one comes first or second when we're adding. But with subtraction, when we practice that, it's very important to keep them in the order that the problem is in. But because we're adding, we can flip them around. And I'm going to draw a number line, and you'll see why I flipped them that way. It's not a very straight line. So remember, I want to start my number line with my with my biggest number, because I'm adding on to that, going forward on the number line. So 6 4/8 is my first number, my biggest number. So I'm going to start my number line at 6, and I'm going to go to 7. Notice how I left a little bit of space here on my number line, because if I stopped it right at 7, well, let's try it and we'll see what happens. Let's stop it at 7. But it goes in both directions forever, so it doesn't really stop. And now I need to make 8s. So I always divide it in half if it's an even number first, and then I make 4 equal spaces. Now I have 1, 2. I count the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get all the way to the next whole number. So I start with 6 4/8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 4/8 right here. And now I need to add 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. I think my number line needs to go a little bit farther because I'm not all the way to 7 yet. Just extend it. This is what I'm talking about with erasing the number line and keeping it going. So I'll add some more 8s here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And because I know the unit I'm working with is 8s, I can say that this is 7 and 1, 2, 3, 7 3/8. That's where I stopped on my number line. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and try your best on the problem set this week. It's at the end of the PowerPoint show. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to me or Miss Watson. Have a great week, you guys, and I'll see you next Monday.